So, Bobby, the coaches poll came out yesterday for college football.
I asked Jerry if he's sad. This will be his last year voting in the coaches poll.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. He might get he might still do it.
Get an honorary ballot.
He could be the Tim May of that. Never retire. Just, fade away a little bit.
What coach is he going to represent, though?
That's a good point, yeah. If he was smart, he'd put it out there for the bidding. He'd ask other coaches, whatever, write an essay if you want me to vote for you, and I'll pick the best one. Texas comes in number 1 with 28 first-place votes. Ohio State number 2 with 20 first-place votes. The Longhorns have 1,606 points total of the votes, where Ohio State's got 1,565. Penn State's third. They also got quite a few first-place votes, 14 of them there, followed by Georgia. I can't read number 5. It's too far away from my eyesight here, but it's probably Bodie's team. Clemson, Notre Dame 5, Clemson 6, Oregon 7, Alabama, LSU, and Miami round out the top 10. So we've got a 1 versus 2, Bob. Week 1. I don't think that's ever happened before.
I believe, as to my knowledge, this is the first time. At least that's what the internet tells me, and the internet has never been wrong.
Here's the thing, though. Will they do another poll before the Ohio State-Texas game?
They don't do a week 0 poll.
They don't do a week 0 poll. Okay, so there's no chance.
There's only like 3 or 4 games, maybe 5, not many.
Yeah.
So this will be the poll to end all polls. Because I remember when Florida State lost to Georgia Tech last year in week 0.
Right.
They did not move.
No, they didn't move in the poll, yeah.
Yes, because they waited another week to vote.
SEC had 4 teams in the top 9 and 9 in the entire poll. They also had South Carolina at 13, Ole Miss 15, Florida 17, Tennessee 18, and Texas A&M was tied for 21st. I believe they were tied for 21st. Yeah, they were with Iowa State. And then Big Ten had 6 teams. They also had Illinois 12, Michigan 14, Indiana 19. Big 12 had 5. The only group of 5 team was Boise State at 25. The Michigan thing was interesting to me. I'm not trying to rip Michigan, but and really, no, but Florida's kind of the same way. And Florida did finish strong last year, but it's not like they had outstanding seasons necessarily. And Michigan's bringing a new quarterback also.
I heard he's pretty good.
I heard he's a 6-star, which is unbelievable.
7.
7-star, yes. But anyway, so that's where it stands right now. So that means we also have a top 10 matchup on the 31st when the Miami and Notre Dame go at it in that primetime game on ABC, which I cannot wait to watch.
Just want to point out about 10 minutes ago on SportsCenter,
they
were going through what some of the top 25 matchups could be in week 1.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, like you said, they're Ohio State, Texas, LSU, Clemson, Notre Dame, Miami. And when they popped up Notre Dame, Miami, they said that Miami has won 4 of the last 5 matchups against the Irish. That is absolutely false. So just whatever that's worth. Anybody listening care about that? Probably not, but I saw it and I was annoyed.
Who does? Who's our chatter that cares about Notre Dame all the time? Patrick does.
So SportsCenter's a liar.
Do you know what the record is?
In the last 5?
Out of the last 5, I know we lost to them the last time we played them in 17, but we beat them in 16. We beat them in 12 and 10. So that's 3 of the 4.
You don't think they played?
I don't think
4 times since 12 on.
Definitely not.
That's a joke. It's a joke. It's a fairly big game.
I think when we played them in the Sun Bowl in 2010, which I know everybody was tuned into that game.
Everyone remembers the Sun Bowl.
I think that was the first time we had played them since Holtz was there, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm trying to take a look here now to see if I can find this out here. I didn't do the right search on it, but anyway, yeah, it's. I'm looking forward to that game. I really am. I'd say I like that it's a standalone game. Notre Dame is 6-7-1 in the series when playing an away game versus Miami. It says.
Here you go, Bodie. What they meant to say is that Notre Dame's won 4 of the last 5.
I was going to say, that's probably what it is, because
they absolutely
destroyed us in 2017. Yeah,
Miami won the last one, but Notre Dame won, like you mentioned, in 16 and 12 and 10 and 90, lost in 89, but won in 88. So technically they've won, 5 of the last 7.
Yeah, so we're hot.
On a heater.
Brian Kelly killed him a couple times, that's for sure.
Yes, he did.
If you lost to BK, then it wasn't
3
your day.
times, yeah.
If you get out coached by Kelly, that's saying something there.
Well,
have you seen what Miami's been trying on the sidelines the last 2 decades?
And then Penn State 3, Georgia 4, Notre Dame 5. I don't have a problem with that. I think that's probably pretty accurate. Oh, here we go.
I just saw those 3 teams play.
Right.
No, 8 months ago. But
yes, you did.
Nevertheless.
I cannot believe when they flipped that 4 or 5, that's something that people are going to be really upset about. I guarantee you that thing's flipped by the next the next Sports Center.
You think they'll know to fix it?
Yeah, because there'll be a lot of people.
I'll get a call. I'll send a call in.
There's a lot of people that are passionate about Notre Dame that would not be happy about that being the case. Even though it has no effect on the game, just the perception of it doesn't look good.
All the first place votes went to Texas, Ohio State, Penn State, Georgia, and then Clemson got 2 first place votes. They are 6th in the poll, though. On that.
I did see something on that, Tito, actually. So I saw this yesterday. Of the 67 ballots that make up this year's preseason coaches poll, Texas received just 28, or roughly 41.7% of the first place votes. That's the first time since, it says 2012, LSU with 18, that the consensus number 1 team did not earn a majority of the first place votes.
Oh.
So I think just another reminder that this season, at least as of now, feels very wide open, man. I mean, I think you could take those top half dozen teams or so and kind of throw them in a mixer, shake it up, and any one of them could beat the other.
I had an interesting conversation yesterday with somebody who was railing against the college ball playoff and thinks that 4 is still the ideal number and not 12.
I think that there's some year. Here's the reality. Like last year, you look at that, there were 6 teams that you knew couldn't win it.
Right.
They could win a game.
Yeah.
Maybe 2. But they couldn't get it done. I would have said the 4 Final Four teams, plus maybe Georgia, and maybe Oregon.
And so
I think that's fair.
That would be it. Georgia lost their quarterback. Carson Beck wasn't playing exactly great.
Right.
Notre Dame beat them and controlled the ball. But I think, if you look at that, could Georgia, on their game of the other 4 teams, and even Notre Dame in there, I think that you played enough games, they would win some. I don't know if they would win the majority of those.
Not tonight.
Just like Oregon. They got smoked against Ohio State, but you put them against Penn State or
right.
something. There's a chance. And Ohio State was on that day, and some of it's just on that given day. So the thing that I've always wrestled with is it better to include more and potentially have some teams that can't win it in there, or have less and have good teams left out.
Which I think the former. And I think most fans would agree with that.
Yeah.
Don't you guys? I'd rather a few extra, too many teams. I think going to 16 is stupid, to be honest with you. But I think 12's fine. 8's probably the best number.
Right.
If you want to keep the value of the regular season where it has been in the last 150 years we've been playing the sport. While also including enough teams that, honestly, I think 8 would probably be the perfect number. They're obviously never going to go back down to 8.
No, they don't go back.
That would be losing money.
Yeah, you don't go back.
But 12, there's no need to go to 16. That's for sure.
Well, in my point when I was having this argument with this person, disagreement, was that he said, some of those games in the playoffs weren't that good of games. You knew that certain teams were going to lose. But I watched more college football last year from the month of December on than I have in a long time. I never watch bowl games that are meaningless games with guys that all have opted out, unless Ohio State's playing. I don't even bother watching the bowl games, but I watch all
Really?
Yeah, I don't like the bowl games to me.
You don't watch movies. You don't watch quote meaningless. What do you? I forgot. You watch
Old Sports Illustrated.
You'll watch old bowl games from 1997.
It's funny you mentioned that. I watched 1978 Oilers football, Bob. That's where you go. Love you, Blue. But I'm saying, but I consume more. I'm not saying bowl games aren't on in my house. I just don't pay attention to them that much. It's a background noise. But I sat and watched a lot of the playoffs last year, most of all the games. And so, and obviously it's great numbers. It's every game, even though every game did not end up being interesting, every game was interesting.
Oh yeah, I watched almost all. Can't remember what the game was.
Right.
Of Michigan, Alabama last year.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking I'm watching Michigan's dudes are all playing in this game.
Yeah.
Or not Michigan.
Alabama.
Alabama. And half of Michigan's guys that opted out, and Michigan beat them.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to sit here and tell me they should have been left out. They didn't care. I'm their guys are out there.
More.
Yeah.
Their guys are out there playing.
Right.
Dude, Graham didn't play. Jenkins, those guys didn't play in the game. Most of their best players opted out, and they went and beat Alabama. I'm that's embarrassing. You can tell me they don't care about the game, but when the other team, half of their best players are out, I watched a lot of that Illinois-South Carolina game. I'm watching Beamer talk trash. I mean, Bielema and Beamer talk trash. I mean, it's amazing. It's like watching Monday Night Raw. Let me tell you something, brother. And they're out there during like the injury timeout, and he's doing like the T. Bielema is at Beamer. I'm like, what is going on here?
Getting back to the
I thought this game didn't matter.
Well, it just means more, Bob. Getting back to the point on the playoff, though, Tito. I mean, at least with more teams, though, and there's always going to be more blowouts.
Right.
Ever since the NFL has added the 7th team, whatever that was, 4 or 5 years ago, in each playoff in the AFC and NFC. I mean, no offense, we see Pittsburgh get in every year, basically, and they can't score.
Right.
It's just this is going to be a blowout as the fourth quarter goes on.
They just haven't had the right weather situation yet.
That's true. Yeah, they need a total snowstorm.
Snowstorm. Really grind
Heinz
it out.
Field, or whatever they're calling it nowadays. But, there were some blowouts, but it also kind of weeded out some of the quote-unquote lesser teams to where the Final Four in particular, and the national championship game wasn't super close. Notre Dame kind of hung around sort of late. But, I mean, the 2 Final Four games were miles better than what we've had in the vast majority.
It does filter it up.
Yeah. And so, I mean, the Ohio State-Texas game came down to, what was Sawyer's scoop score with 3 minutes left.
Yeah.
And Notre Dame kicked a field goal with 12 seconds left to beat Penn State. And since we started the 14 playoff a decade ago, 90% of those games were over by halftime. So
sure. Yeah, I think that
I would take a few more blowouts in the first round if it means the second, third, and national championship.
Part of the first round blowouts, I think, were a function of like how they did the seeding and everything last year.
That probably didn't help. Yeah. Because Notre Dame and Ohio State were better than the 7th and 8th seed.
Yes. And so then you have Boise getting a bye. Who else got the bye? Arizona State?
Arizona State, I think, yeah.
I mean, if those teams are playing in the first round, then you're probably getting more competitive games.
Yeah, because one of the more competitive of the first round games, and not that it was like super close, but out of the 4, Texas and Clemson was competitive.
Good.
And
Clemson
it's not a surprise because, when you just read the names out, well, not that Tennessee should have been that bad, but I don't think. But, when you just say the names out loud, Notre Dame versus Indiana, Ohio State versus Tennessee, Penn State versus SMU, you're going to guess most of those are going to be blowouts. Like I said, would have thought Tennessee would have put up a little bit more of a fight. But then when you get to Clemson, Texas, it's like, no kidding, that was a competitive game. Both those two teams are at the top of the sport on a regular basis over the last several years.
I don't know if it's the downside or not, but the only downside is 12. And I love the 12. I told you I wanted 16, but I love the 12 too. But the only downside is that if you get bigger, there's a greater chance of the best team not winning. And I don't know if that matters or not.
Well, it's like the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with the NFL.
Right. It's whoever's hot.
The bigger you make the tournament,
the
better chance you have of someone getting upset.
Right.
And it's not who is the best, it's who's the best on that day. And so the more exposure you get, the chances of an injury, just playing poorly, like there's a lot of things that can happen.
Does that matter to you guys as fans?
I think there's a balance between, and we're up against it here, there's a balance between entertainment and also trying to get like the most pure champion. Because like in the NCAA tournament, you're not usually getting that.
I like upsets in the first couple rounds, but when it gets to the Elite 8 and Final Four, I want the Blue Bloods. I want the best teams in there. I don't want a 15 seed making it to the Final Four.
Yeah. I would say personally for me on that topic, like I would almost more so focus on the fact that the regular season keeps getting devalued.
Yeah.
I like the fact that in the past, every Saturday mattered.
Yeah.
I was okay with the 4-team and then the 12-team playoff. You can drop a game or two. But now as we push to 16 and some of the geniuses at the top of the sport want to be like, well, if you go 6-3 in the Big Ten, that's super good, which is a joke.
Yeah.
And you can go 8-4 now and all of a sudden be playing for a playoff spot. I think that's a joke.